Clarity Nation, what's good, y'all? Yeah, that was a little bit too hood. Doesn't really work for me, does it? Anyways, I hope you guys are having a good evening, morning, afternoon, whatever it is when you're tuning in. Super excited. Last week, right, it was a milestone. 10 episodes in. Consistency is hard, man. Hard to do these every single week. There's no two ways around it. There's no BS in it. But that's what makes us stronger. The discipline to stay consistent, to stay committed and engaged and be doing what it is that we do. Most of us, we just don't follow things through to the finish line, right? We don't. How many projects or tasks, whatever you want to call it, do you have on the go that are just sitting there collecting dust? Too many. Maybe you want to clear the shelf. Maybe you want to pick some of them up again. I don't know. So, we spent the last couple of weeks talking about the 4 skills of mental toughness, right? We covered positivity. We covered breath control. This is the 3rd in the series, and that would be visualization. Now, I know to some of you guys, it might be kind of woo-woo. It might be kind of out there, right? I get it. Took me a while to learn how to embrace it as well. Depending on the day and when you ask me, I may or may not say that it's not a skill that I possess. Although I do have a very overactive imagination, and I do spend a lot of my days with my head in the clouds. And if I'm not careful, I'm living in a fantasy world. I'm not actively listening, and I'm receiving what's being said to me in a conversation in the wrong way because I'm thinking about other things, which is the negative side of visualization, right? We want to be in the present moment. We want to be actively participating in what we're in. We don't want to be thinking about the next thing. We don't want to be thinking about the chaos of our day that happened before us. We don't want to think about what may or may not happen in the future. We need to be planted right here in the here and now, right? It's that simple. Geez, sorry about that. I don't know if the dogs barking and people sawing through metal and shit outside was coming through. I know this thing is a bit more sensitive than what I'm used to. Better safe than sorry. Because the life happens, I may have to go to the echo chamber, aka my spare bedroom, which is also my training room. Yeah, I don't know. We'll figure something out in time. So anyways, yeah, it depends on my day and my mood on how well I think I am with visualization. And we definitely do not want to be spending our days with our heads in the clouds, right? But here's the thing. Since the dawn of time, elite teams, elite people across the world have been using visualization, right? This ties back to the concept of winning in your mind before you set your foot out the door to go to war, right? Life is a battlefield. I'm sure that's a song somewhere. Got to be like a 90s song. I think maybe I used to even like it when I was a kid. I don't remember. And it really ties right back into state management, right? I know in the nutrition world, there's been a lot of studies of using visualization to help achieve certain health metrics, right? There's a good study on building muscle. Right? They had 3 groups of people. They had people who did nothing. They had people who just did weights. Then they had people who did weights with visualization. And then they had a third group of people who just focused on visualize, something like that. I don't remember. It's been a while since I did this study. Anyways, I remember the end result, and that's what matters. What the study found is the people who just did visualization had minimal muscle growth. The people who just worked out had a lot more muscle growth, and the people who worked out and visualized the results or the success that they wanted to see, that group that coupled the visualization with their regimen over the course of the 6 or 8 weeks, they had the most progress. They had the most growth. Our mind cannot differentiate between what is reality and what is not. When we are visualizing, when we're letting our thoughts run through our head, our mind doesn't know that it's just in our head. It doesn't realize it's not in the physical world. So our thoughts, what we have going on in our head, what we're visualizing, what we're anticipating, that does impact everything from our performance all across our physiology, right? When I was a kid and I was really struggling with depression, visualization is a skill that really helped out. And it's a skill I stopped practicing when I went down the drug party boy rabbit hole, right? I stopped doing it, but it was very powerful. I would have something in my calendar, something coming up, and for nights, every night before I went to sleep, I would visualize myself there. Like maybe it was going to the beach with friends, maybe I was going on a date with a girl, whatever. I would visualize that at different points throughout the day. It alleviated the depression because it gave me something to look forward to. But the power of visualization and projecting ourselves forward that way, often the experiences went very similar to how I was imagining them going in my head. I was essentially creating my reality. And I didn't know what I was doing at the time because I wasn't privy to these systems. I wasn't privy to these teachings. It was just something I did. I wasn't thinking about it. I didn't understand it. By no means can I say with confidence that I understand it on a very deep level. I'm still very much in the process of learning myself, and it does give me a bit of a sense of imposter syndrome as well, right? Around visualization, and especially when it comes to coupling it with box breathing and guiding my clients through that, coaching my clients through that. It's still, I just feel like I'm out of line, right? But I know I just need to get the reps in. So how can you use visualization? How can it impact you? One of the powerful things that we teach is doing box breathing before meetings, right? That's our SOP, standard operating procedure at Unbeatable Mind, is like before every call, at the start of every call with our teams, we do box breathing. With our clients, we start off by doing box breathing and setting intentions. Maybe you have a big sales meeting coming up. Maybe you have a big meeting with your team. You can step back, you can take that 2 to 5 minutes to do your box breathing, but you can layer in some sort of visualization and walk yourself through the experience. How am I showing up? How do I want to show up? Who do I want to be? How do I want the conversation to go? What is the end result? And visualize yourself going through those motions to call it into existence. Another aspect that it brings in is confidence, right? That comes into planning and preparing for what we're doing. So often for myself and my clients, we find that we're a lot more prepared walking into our meetings, walking into our calls, walking into our plans after we've had that visualization session and coupled it. Whether we couple it with box breathing, another form of breathing, or meditation or whatever is kind of besides the point. But we're a lot more focused, we're a lot more on point, and we're a lot more confident throughout the process because we've already seen ourselves going through the process, you know, and that can unlock a huge potential factor, a huge performance factor, it can really tap into that 20x that we're all trying to tap into. Another use of visualization could be for your evening rituals, which evening rituals, PM rituals, aren't something I've discussed a lot on the podcast, so stay tuned for more of that. But yeah, in our morning rituals and our evening rituals. So our morning rituals would be, we're going through and I'm sorry, I've digressed a little bit here. Our morning ritual to have visualization in there would be, we're seeing ourselves go throughout our day. We're early, we're on time, we're having great experiences throughout all of our engagements that we have scheduled in our calendars for the day. And our days go a lot smoother. We're a lot more confident because we've already experienced ourselves living that day. Because remember, our mind cannot comprehend or differentiate reality from what's going on in our heads. What you resist persists, and what you focus on, you attract more of in your life. Right? It's that simple. So then it comes to the end of the day. Let's get back to it. Our evening rituals. This is a very good way to recap our day, right? Eradicate regrets. A lot of us, we try and go to bed at night. We're tossing and turning. We're not falling asleep. We have so many, what if this, maybe if I that, I regret this, I wish this didn't happen. We go to sleep, we carry that regret with us in our sleep. Our body compartmentalizes it. Our body stores that energy, and our mind stores that energy in different places of our body, right? You've experienced this if you practice yoga, like doing a pigeon pose or anything that really gets deep into your hip. There's often a huge emotional upwell that you maybe haven't experienced in a lot of years of shit that was buried, right? A lot of that stuff gets processed and compartmentalized in our sleep. So using visualization at the end of the day as part of our evening ritual is very powerful, because we have almost a second chance. In a sense, we have a second chance, right? We can now spend 2 to 5 minutes and relive our whole day. We call that recapitulation. Recapitulate our whole day, and we can find all of those, what if this, if I only did that, blah, 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 blah. All of that shit that weighs us down, how all of those different ways we put the weight of the world on our shoulders. And we can eliminate that regret. Because we're reliving it in the past tense now, we can find those spots that we need to improve. We can find those breakdowns. And we're now in a position where we can take those breakdowns, we can reframe and we can reposition them so that we have more positive and enjoyable feelings around them. We've now given ourselves a more positive experience than the initial knee-jerk, what a horrible day I've had. On the flip side, maybe you had an amazing day. This works equally as well. You want to feel good. We all want to feel good. It's a basic human instinct. We all want to feel good. So on those days where you've been on fire, you lit up, that's a perfect day to do this recapitulation exercise. Visualize yourself going through your day again and really figuring out what went well and what didn't, right? Because that's part of it. So now you can bridge that gap so that this worked well, was not so well, this well, all in all throughout the day, I was on fire, everything was well. You can take those and you can bridge the gap so you're more even across the board, right? In terms of how your day went, the lessons learned. And most importantly, you can carry those positive feelings, those positive vibes with you into your sleep and in the next day. Another powerful way to use visualization is our future me visualization. And there's 2 different ways to go about doing it. One, you can, like I mentioned at the beginning of the podcast, you can project yourself out into the future to certain events, and you can plan for that accordingly. It's the same thing as public speaking, as doing a presentation. you're going to be in front of the mirror or a camera or whatever practicing your presentation. It's the same concept. It's just a little bit of a different application. You know what I'm saying? It's just another way to be prepared, another way to get confident, another door to tapping into our potential and our increased performance. The second variation of the future me visualization would be to go to your mind gym, which is your safe spot in your mind that's dedicated for this personal development type work. You can go into your mind gym and you can invite the future version of yourself. You can invite the most elite version of yourself into your mind gym, into that mental training space, and get advice, get insight from them. Another powerful visualization exercise, and this is what I used to do when I was a kid and I didn't even know I was doing it, was called 1, 2, 3 dream yoga. Right? And that's, I don't know why it's called 1, 2, 3 dream yoga. I don't, because there's no yoga involved. It's not a physical activity. But 1, 2, 3 dream yoga, essentially what you're doing, you can research it more online. I'm not an expert in it. It's not something that I actively use anymore. It's something that I want to research and learn how to do it more effectively and do it for myself. It's on my ever-growing list that we all have. Right? But it's 1, 2, 3 dream yoga. So you're in bed at night, you're getting ready to go to sleep. That event, that hard conversation, that whatever you want to call into your life, right? It's just a way of calling something into your life that's in the best, that is in the best interest of the highest and greatest good of not just yourself, but the world, because that's what we do. We create world-centric leaders, right? But 1, 2, 3 dream yoga is the process of you're laying in bed at night, you're getting ready to fall asleep. You can start thinking about what you want to create in your life, or how maybe the new job that you want to land, or the new relationship that you're pursuing, whatever. It's a great opportunity to put it out into the universe. Right as we're about to fall asleep, and in that first 20 minutes that we wake up in the day, our brains are super pliable. Anything that you put in there is pretty much going to get stuck. That doesn't mean you can listen to a language and pick it up just like that. But the thoughts that we put in our head are going to stick a lot more than they otherwise would. So 1, 2, 3 dream yoga, as you're laying in bed at night getting ready to fall asleep, you're putting your energy, you've already done your evening ritual, you've already done your recapitulation. Now what you're doing is you're projecting yourself out into the future, and sort of like a future me visualization. But you're putting the energy into what it is that you're trying to attract into your life. And before you fall asleep, you just let it go. Just let it go. That doesn't mean that you're going to call it into your life tomorrow. That doesn't mean that it's a one and done exercise. Maybe it takes 5, 10 years to come into your life. Maybe it takes a week or a couple days. Depends how much energy you're putting into it and how much practice you've had, the magnitude of what you're asking for. The universe needs to pull strings to make it happen, right? Woo, 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 woo. But guys, visualization, I got to wrap this up, is such a powerful mental exercise. I'll have to do something a bit later on the mind gym, on our mental training grounds, and a few of the things that I've brushed on here. So stay tuned. Bear with me. I really want to keep these around 20 minutes to respect your guys' time and avoid you listening to me going on tangents, because we all know I can go on tangents forever if I'm given the opportunity. I think Uma and Forefront and Bankless, of all of anybody I've interacted with has really experienced that, at least in the afternoon. The afternoons are my social times, my peak times. Morning, I tend to be the most creative. And in the evening, I'm just need my space. But there you go, guys. There's a brief high-level overview of visualization. It is very powerful for mental toughness, right? Because you get that confidence and the other positive traits that you need to embody. It is also very powerful from a state management, because we can eradicate those regrets. We can further ingrain those positivity feelings in our lives, right? Mental toughness and state management, visualization is so powerful. I've given you a number of different ways to start practicing and executing on it. Drop your comments, drop your feedback down below. I would really love to hear from you guys how it's working. I'll do my best to help you get over any roadblocks that you're experiencing with it. If you need something more in depth, feel free, go to the softcoach.com/services and sign up for one of the coaching packages where I give you a little bit more detail on it. I hope this helped, guys. Have a wonderful day. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate all of your support, and we're going to chat again sometime soon. See you next week. Peace out.